Hi everyone, and welcome to a completed pages video consisting of all of the pages I have completed during the months of April and May. My name is Katja. I'm CatColouring. A warm welcome to my channel for both new and old subscribers. Sit back, relax and enjoy the video. Perhaps you could also grab yourself a nice cup of coffee or a mug of tea or a cold drink of water. Let's start with the body colors. We will begin as usual with Magical Dragons by Eline T. And my body colors with Jamie. And the first one is this one. You may have seen it. I made a little shorts about it. I called it Easter Dragon Babies. And I think that they are so cute. This was the page that I chose for the month of April. And since it was the Easter month, I thought that I would color these in some really nice pastel-like colors, or, you know, bright and cheerful colors. So it became purple and blue and pink for these little dragon babies. And I used Neo Color 2 for the background. Neo Color 2s don't work very good on the paper in this Amazon book. It's like it doesn't dissolve very good when you use it with water, so it gets really streaky. So I might have to find another medium for the backgrounds in this book, because now I have tried it a couple of times and I'm not quite satisfied with the result. Anyway, the dragons, however, they were colored with Black Widow pencils, and they work quite nicely on the paper in this Amazon book. So I think that I will do a video eventually with which coloring pencils I think work best on this paper, because now I have tried quite a few different brands and some really do work better than others. But they were easy to lay down on the paper, and I think that they also blended quite nicely. So that was for the month of April. And you can see here on Jamie's coloring for April that he also chose some very nice pastel colors for the 3 baby dragons. He used Dabo and Shobo alcohol markers. And this is just a really nice and bright coloring. So this was the page that Jamie chose for the month of May. Perhaps if you follow me on social media, you will have seen this one, because I did post it on Instagram and also Facebook. So this one, the Flower Dragon. So for the background, I still use Neo Color 2s. And you can see it's still a bit streaky. But it worked better because I pulled the color from the crayon itself and not put it down on the paper first and then dissolve it. And that worked better. But I'm still not quite satisfied with the Neo Color 2s. Perhaps I should try Derwent Inktense or just soft pastels. For this one, I used my new Derwent Pro colors, and they worked really great on the paper in this Amazon book. I also used a little Sharpie acrylic marker, but the rest of it is just the Derwent Pro colors for both the flowers and the dragon, and just a little bit of white gel pen to create some highlights in this dragon. So I want to give you just a little sneak peek of this. This is the page that I have chosen for the month of June. A beautiful dragon in a mountain and lake scenery. So we will see in the next completed pages video how I will make that. But I'm quite satisfied with these body colors. I really love doing body colors with Jamie. Thank you so much, Jamie. And here we can see Jamie's dragon, and you can see that he chose green for his dragon. But you can also see that once again we have chosen quite similar colors for the flowers. It's amazing that Jamie and I, despite the fact that we don't talk about our color choices, we still managed to choose some of the same colors for our body colors. I really like that. And once again, Jamie, thank you so much for this one. I can't wait to see your June dragon of the Dragon by the Lake. And regular viewers of my channel will know that after I have shown you my body colors with Jamie, it's time for my body colors with Deanne and Kathleen. Also very good American friends, just like Jamie. And currently we're coloring in Magical Worlds by Johanna Basford. And we have made 2, and I will also show you a little sneak peek for the coming body color. I just have to find the right one. Okay, so this is from Easter. And you may look at this page and wonder and think, oh my gosh, goodness, and everything, what is this? Because this is not quite the way Johanna Basford drew this page. She did it as a double page spread with 2 dragons. This one with the flowers, and this one with the huge Fabergé-like egg. You can see on all of these Easter eggs that we turned it into an Easter theme. And we always give each other tasks for these body colors, and the task this time was to turn the dragon into an Easter bunny. So this is my version of the Easter bunny, and as you can see here, the long elongated snout, or what you can say, nose of the dragon is gone. Also its ears, and also its long tail down here. And now you may wonder, how did she do it? Well, I used white gouache. I showed you in, I think it was my winter or autumn art haul, that I had bought white gouache. And now I have finally found a really good purpose for it. So I used gouache first to cover all of the things I didn't want from the dragon. This one was difficult, so I chose to keep the body of the dragon as a sort of decoration of the Easter egg. And then I used my Shuttle Art pastel acrylic paints to cover the background. First a pastel blue, and it's the pastel colors, pastel blue for the sky, a little bit of white clouds, and then I think it was a yellow-green for the grass, and then I used all kinds of pastel colors to do the Easter eggs, and I used first a light beige color to cover the rest of the dragon, because the black lines were not that easy to cover, and then I used white, I think it was a white Posca pen to make first strokes on this sort of beige Easter bunny here. And, well, then it was just a matter of using Posca pens to draw patterns in the Easter eggs. And then I used Super Golden Markers, glitter gel pens, if you may say so, for the entire Easter egg. I hope you can see how very, very shiny it is. Both Deanne and Kathleen have posted their drawings on Facebook. We are in different sorts of Johanna Basford Facebook groups, and you can see their drawings there. But I'm really satisfied with how I managed to transform a dragon into an Easter bunny. This was not an easy task, let me tell you. It took me a couple of days to make this page. And not because the paint had to dry. It was dry quite quickly. Also, if you use a hairdryer to help the acrylic paint, it dries quickly. And you can see on the other page that, well, I did get a little bit of the blue up here, but the page is not ruined when you use acrylic paint on the paper in this book. So it's, I think it's an easier medium to work with than watercolors on the paper in this book. And this is a sneak peek. I can already show you this. This is my body color here for the month of June, and this is the sort of swan page, and the task here is from ugly duckling to beautiful swan. This means that this is going to be a mixture of a beautiful swan, but also still showing the transition from the ugly duckling to the beautiful swan. This means that some of this swan is going to be beautiful, and the other half is going to show that it used to be an ugly duckling. You know, like from the fairy tale by Hans Christian Andersen. So I think that I will also use some of my white gouache for this one. And I might actually make a little video about using gouache in coloring books in my series Tips and Tricks for Beginner Colorists. So if you're interested in knowing how exactly I do it, then be sure to look out for one of the upcoming tips and tricks videos. This page was from the month of May, so I did it a couple of weeks ago, and this task was to make white lines and make it sort of a stained glass effect, but not with black lines, but with white lines. And we didn't have to do the entire motif. I think that I was one of them who did the most here. So I chose for the entire background to use just to use normal colors. I use my Faber-Castell Polychromas for this one. And then you can see I used a white gel pen, and I used not a Posca. Because I think that when you use Posca pens, I think it sometimes get more grayish than whitish when you try to cover black lines. So I used my Uniball Signo Broad white gel pen, and it worked really nicely on here. I also added more leaves to these flowers. And then I divided the background into spaces and colored them in different blue colors. So it's sort of a glass stained effect, but not quite, but with white lines. And I just used super golden markers for the sort of frame here. Perhaps eventually we will make with a glass stained effect, but we talked about it, and a motif like this with all of these tiny details is not really easy to make a glass stained effect. So perhaps we should. I have not one of these cozy coloring books, but I think that the pictures in such a book, because the motifs are quite huge, there are not a lot of details, so I think you could better divide such a page into a glass stained page. And, toy with the effects and the blending and the layering and so on. There wasn't enough room for me. I know that Kathleen really tried, but it was really difficult for her also to try to get the effect in the background. Because it was really, really tiny. But a fun task. And that was my coloring with Deanne and Kathleen in this book, Magical Worlds by Johanna Basford. Next up, body colors with the lovely Pixinger colors on Instagram. And the first one for April we did in the Romantic Country, the second tale. And this was a page that I don't think I would have ever chosen to do voluntarily. And I'm not quite sure I would ever have done it unless we had chosen this page together. And it's, of course, one of the most intricate pages in this book. The Windmill and Tulip Field page. So this one was a real challenge, let me tell you that, because there are so many details with all of the flowers, and you have to color the grass in between all of the flowers, and you have to color the windmills, and then we also have the sky up here. So I chose to, when I have such a page with so many details and a lot going on, I choose to color with the pencils I know work the best on the paper in a book, and it's the Prismacolors. So this is colored with my Prismacolors, because then I don't have to worry about how the pencils behave on the page. I just choose some colors and then I can color. So these windmills I did after researching online for Dutch windmills. So the colors I chose were based from colors that I saw that Dutch windmills could have. In a minute I will show you Pixinger colors page, and it's wonderful. She chose pastel colors for these windmills. And then I had to do all of these flowers. I had seen some finished colorings of this page on Pinterest, and it was really different how people colored the flowers. A lot of people color them the same color, or perhaps just two colors. And then I thought, well, I really wanted to use different colors, but I also wanted it to be, really spring-like. So that's why I chose a lot of yellow, orange, and red colors for the flowers, but also some purple here. And the funny thing is that when I did this, and I just used the Posca pens, white and lavender and violet for these flowers up here, Pixinger colors, she had chosen almost the exact same colors and did it in, almost the exact same way. And we hadn't talked about it. So it's really funny that we chose the same way to do the flowers here in the background. Would I change anything? Perhaps these trees could have been darker, but I had a certain color scheme in mind when I chose the colors for the trees. And I wanted it to be, a light, bright spring drawing, this one. So I chose not to go too dark with with the colors, although I did add some, I think it was moss green and green ochre to the grass here to create some shadows from the windmills in the grass. I'm really, really happy with how this page came together. And I'm really happy that I have someone to do body colors with in this book, because you can see here, wow, some of the pages are so detailed that you really have to think about it before you begin coloring these pages. So I will just show you her page, and then we will move on to the next book we did our next body color in. Here you can see Pixinger Colors page, and you can see that she chose really lovely pastel-like colors. She always uses a lot of different pencils, so she uses like Chromaflows, Pablos, and Castle Art Gold pencils, and Languille pens. So her drawings are always a mixture of different sorts of mediums. She chose, like I said before, pastel colors, and you can see the wonderful pink pastel-like spring colors, both in the flowers and also the color of the dress of the girl. And then we can see the windmills. They are in 3 different colors, and this was inspired, she told me, by some real windmills in the Netherlands that have these different colors. Very bright and very spring-like drawing. I love this coloring that she did. Okay, so the next book we chose was not A Romantic Country, the second tale, because we had done 2 body colors in this. So in May, it was actually Pixinger Colors' birthday in the beginning of May. And then we chose to work in Rooms of Wonder. And this is my first page in this book. It's also another good thing when you do body colors with other people. You might get to color in some of the books you haven't touched really. So I'm really, really happy with having colored the first page in this book. For some reason, I've never really been able to begin coloring in Rooms of Wonder. I know that when I bought it, I thought it was wonderful, and there were so many pages that I would like to color, but for some reason I have never really begun coloring in this book. You know, this double page spread is absolutely wonderful. But thanks to Pixinger, I have now colored my first page, and we chose the page, or rather I chose the page with the birthday cakes in a sort of mandala, because it was a birthday. And here it is. And if, again, you follow me on social media, you may have seen this page, because I posted it in several of the Johanna Basford groups on Facebook, and also on my CatColouring profile on Facebook, and also on Instagram. And a lot of people have been really, really happy about this page, and so am I. I use my Bruin Seal Expression pencils, the ones I did a review of a couple of months ago. And then I use my Neocolor 2s for the background. And the Neocolor 2s work really great on the paper in this book. So I didn't have any trouble at all with them. So I thought that I would have sort of a pastel color or rainbowish like theme, you know, with the cakes to go from. We have some red, and then we have pink, we have some orange, we have yellow, we have blue, the darker one, the lighter one, and a little bit of green. And then the cakes were the same, and then I alternated between the colors for the ribbons here and also these plates that they are placed upon, and then also the background. So we have purple here, purple for the background, and purple here for the plate. So, you know, it alternates. And then I chose Posca pens to create dots in the background to make it really festive, in the same colors too. So I really like how this page turned out. And then I put a P in the middle because she had birthday. So I'm really, really satisfied with this page. I think it's one of the best pages I have colored in these 2 months. I really like it. So now let me show you what Pixinger Color did with this page. And here you can see Pixinger Color's beautiful cake. It's lemon and berry cakes, and they look so delicious that you practically want to eat it right off the drawing. Made with Brute Funa macarons and Castle Arts Gold pencils, and then Languille gel pens. Really realistic and delicious looking cakes. Thank you so much, Pixinger Colors, for these body colors, and I cannot wait for our next body color for the month of June, where we begin yet another new coloring book together. Thank you so much. And now it's time for my buddy colors with Jodie. And Jodie is one of my subscribers, and she's also one of my channel members. And we are also connected on Instagram. So we have been buddy coloring for 3 months now, and we are buddy coloring in Airy books. And the first buddy color we did for April took forever. This is the World Heritage book, and I really mean it took forever. It took me 5 days to complete this page. And of course it's Easter, or it was Easter in April, so it was the Easter egg page. This is the page with the Easter egg from the Easter market in Prague, in the old town in Prague, in the Czech Republic. And you can see here why it took me so long. And I have also used different medias. I used my Derwent Inkton's The Lemon color for the background. And then I used my Prismacolors. Last time I used my polychromas, but I used my Prismacolors for this one. So I wanted to make each egg really special. And I researched and I found pictures of Easter eggs from the old market in Prague. So I tried to color them the best I could, sort of really inspired by these eggs. So this one is directly taking the inspiration with the colors and the white around each and everything of these patterns from some Easter eggs I saw. They were red and orange and blue, and then they had all sorts of patterns on them, and then they had a white lining around them. So that was from a picture I saw on the internet. And also this one, they do have some Easter eggs with flowers, and again the white outlining for these. Also this was very much inspired, and the colors for this one. So the rest of them I did the way I thought it should be done, you know, with inspiration for the colors that they have. So Jodie did it in quite a different way, and I will just cut so you can see her page, and then we will move on with our May page. Jodie's eggs were colored with Ohuhu water-based markers, Arteza premium pencils, and acrylic markers on top. And Jodie told me that coloring these eggs reminded her a lot about when she was a child and used to sit and paint eggs with her mother for Easter. I like how these eggs turned out differently, but they really show how you can do these Easter eggs in many, many different ways. And again, it's really nice to do another page in this book. But for the month of May, we chose another Airy book, and it is this one, Magical Country. And I have also done a page here myself. I will show you later. But we did the unicorn page in Magical Country. And as you can see here, I would have liked to color the other page, because I know that Jodie did. She did it as a sort of double page where she took the moon away from here and made it just over here. And then tried to, I think she made the horse go, or the unicorn, not a horse, it's a unicorn, made it go here to make the 2 pages more coherent. Unfortunately, I had the issues with my wrist and so on, so I didn't have time at the end of the month to do this page, so I will have to do that later, but I am going to make that soon. So you can see here I chose a night sky with clouds, because this unicorn sanctuary is up in the clouds in the sky. It says so here in the beginning of the book. You can see the map over Ramsmignon, the capital here, and Lorimer, the Magical Country, and you can see here the unicorn shelter is up here in the sky. So, as I said, a night sky with stars, and then we have the barn over here, and we have the 2 unicorns here. And I used my Prismacolors, and I know that this looks like snow. It's not snow, it's clouds, because they are in the clouds. And then we have some starflowers. And of course, we have a caretaker here, and we have the unicorns. So I used Prismacolors and you know, Posca pens, but the 2 unicorns I did with my acrylic ink. the pearl violet for this one. Hope you can see how shiny it is. Really wanted to make it shiny. And pearl blue for the other one down here. And that turned out quite nicely. Because I thought that, well, when you have unicorns, they should be really special. And I couldn't imagine coloring in them in a, you know, normal horse-like colors or just white. So I thought that the acrylic paint with the pearl white was the perfect way to color them. And then I used a white Posca pen to lighten up all of the outlines with these horses. So I'm really, really satisfied with how this page went. And also with the moon, did some research and inspiration from pictures of the moon before I colored it. And now it's time to see Jodie's double page spread. You can see in Jodie's picture that she also chose a night sky. You can also see she has really removed the moon. And then she chose a grass field where these unicorns are. And a very wooden barn in the background. So her picture is in some darker colors than mine, because I chose to have all of these light fluffy clouds for my sort of theme for the page. Thank you so much, Jodie, for this body color. I can't wait for our next body color, whether it be in an area book or another coloring book. So we continue with the rest of my area drawings just because I have the books now. So let me show you a page I did myself just for the fun of it. I have always wanted to, since I got this book, to do the magical chair page. So I did this one in, pretty sure it was April. And I used my Prismacolors, and then I used soft pastels for the background, my Munguia soft pastels. So I hope you can see there is a very faint background. I think I used the light ochre, or it could also have been the ivory. And then I used a very light yellow for the background here. So you can see it sort of lightens up and shines behind. So I also had to cover all of these lines several times with my Posca pen, the color Sunshine Yellow, because it's a light yellow color. And I always wanted to make this, you know, page because it's a magical chair. And when you sit there, you get inspired. And these leaves fall down with suggestions for the books you can read. So I really wanted this to shine light and be a bright picture with a bright background, if you know what I mean. And then I just used markers for the wallpaper flowers. But the rest is Prismacolors. So I like how this one turned out, and it was quite fun to do, and also quite quick, a quick drawing. And you can see here I haven't colored and layered as much as I do. I use my Prismacolor blender because I think that the Prismacolor blender works really nicely on the paper in this book to sort of, you know, spread the color, so you don't have to layer and blend so much as I'm used to doing. So I really like this one. And then the most recent I did was, and this was a color along for members of my coloring community, and it was also a page for Mermaid, one of two pages I have made for Mermaid. So this double page spread, Mermaid Bay. And I used my Derwent Inktense for almost the entire page, the Malibu color up here and down here for the water and the cliffs, and then I colored on top of some of it, also the grass. I used my Faber-Castell Polychromos to color on top and add details, and also on the cliffs. And then, of course, I used a white gel pen, my Uniball Signo, to create the waves and the shine and the splashes in the water. And a little super golden marker, golden yellow over here. And a little bit of some glitter gel pens here and there for some, you know, details. But I really like how this one turned out. I really wanted it to be a bright colors, bright, happy double page spread. with the mermaids. And then this was also the first pages I got to color in Romantic Country, the third tale. So yet another coloring book I have begun. So now I can continue coloring in this one. Really nice. In April, I decided it was time I really did something in fairy tales and folklore. So I have 3 pages to show you. This one I did. And this one was colored with my Faber-Castell polychromas and the Derwent Inktense Lemon for the background. I wanted the background to be really light, and I wanted it to be very bright colors I use. And then some more pastel-like colors for the Easter eggs in this little bird's nest. So I really like how this one turned out. It also took me a couple of days to color this, because coloring so much skin is not really easy with the shadowing and so on. But I like how this one turned out. It's really light and bright, just as I like it. And then I did this one. This one was a, as far as I remember, wasn't it a color and chat? Oh yes, it was a color and chat on my channel, and you can see it if you want to. So the background, just have to look for the background. I can't remember if it was Neocolor Tools or Derwent. Easter Bunny. It was Derwent Inktense, and not Derwent Inktense. I used the Jungle and Olivine and the Malibu here. So the Olivine down here and the Jungle, and then the Malibu for the background up here. And 44% voted for this page from Fairy Tales and Folklore. So I did the Easter Bunny and not the other Easter drawing with birds and eggs and so on. And then I used my Prismacolors for the rest. I also used for the bunny to, I also used, as far as I remember, didn't I use something to ground it with? And then I used the Prismacolors on top to create the fur. I think I did. But a nice Easter page. And the last one, well, I don't know what I think about it. It's the serpent page, you know, Lindwormen, the serpent running around the church trying to crush it. I began this page, I think it was in January or February, and then I just left it there for a long time, and then I finished it. So I really wanted it to be dark, but I also wanted the church and this serpent to, you know, be bright and light. And these serpents, because it's not a dragon, it's a serpent, they are always in Nordic mythology, either they are very dark, almost black in the colors, or they are yellow and red. So I chose yellow and red because I had already made the background really, really dark, and also the cliffs that it's lying on. So I had to do it light, or otherwise the serpent would completely disappear and we could only see the church. So I used Neocolor 2 black for the background, and then I used my Derwent Chromaflows. So this is made with Derwent Chromaflows, and I don't think that they work very nicely on this paper, and it's perhaps why I was a bit not so happy about them. But I have recently used them in another book on another kind of paper, and they work better there. So, you know, it really depends on the paper how these pencils perform. So I didn't think that they performed really nice on this paper in this lovely, lovely book, but on paper in Hanna Karlzon books they work nicely, and I will show you that later in the video. Millie Marotta's Precious Planet. And I have colored my first double page spread here. Originally, I wanted to color this page for something completely different, and then I discovered I couldn't. So this is a mixture of different mediums. This is the page with the Madeiran Brimstone Butterfly. So you can see it here, and the background was done with Faber-Castell Polychroma. So I'm trying out different sorts of coloring pencils on this paper in her books. And the first drawing I did, I used Black Widows. I wasn't quite satisfied with them, so I switched to polychromas. And I'm not very satisfied with these either. So I have tried both a wax and an oil-based pencil. I will continue to try, but I switched to my Arctex acrylic markers to do the rest of it. So the flowers and leaves and the butterflies are all colored with my Arctex acrylic markers. And I have 2 sets, the normal set and that I think it's the pastel set. And these are colored like the Madeira and Brimstone butterflies really look like. So the males are the ones with the bright orange colors, and these more yellowish green are the females. And then it was just a matter of coloring the flowers. So I like how the Arctex work on this paper. I think they are a really good medium to use on the paper in this book. But this one is a bit special because this one is the Precious Planet. So this is the coloring book with endangered species. So originally I had wanted to color this one for the task with the black and red butterflies, where I used the Maria Trolle book with Nightfall. You will see that page later in the video. But I found out that this is a yellow butterfly, and I didn't want to ruin the coloring pages. I really want to color the animals and birds in this book just like they are in real life, because they are endangered species. And then I can, use other colors for the animals in her other books. But these are particular endangered species, and I didn't want to color them in, fantasy-like colors. I wanted to color them just like they are in nature. So you can use this as a sort of book where you can, look it up when I'm done with the book. So hopefully in a couple of years I will have finished this book. Yeah. So 1 Millimarotta page, or a double page spread this month. My Johanna Basford book, or the rest of them, where I have made something. This page I did 3 little drawings for one of the first episodes in my tips and tricks for beginner colorist. This little drawing with the Staedtler Ergosoft, and this one and this one. So another couple of small drawings made on this little vignette page. So I will really have to begin coloring more in this one. There are some really nice pages in this one. I'm really not sure why I haven't colored this much in Worlds of Wonder and Rooms of Wonder, because I really like them. Or perhaps it was because there was so much hype and I worked on some other Johanna Basford books that I never got to do these. I'm not quite sure. It would be nice to do some body colors perhaps in Worlds of Wonder. Anyway, I did 1 page in World of Flowers, and this was also a video, a color along from members of my coloring community voted for Johanna Basford, and then there were equal votes on the different sorts of books, World of Flowers and The Magical Jungle, and the third one I can't remember. And then I chose the book, and I chose this page, and I did it with my Faber-Castell Polychromos. And I tried to keep it in a sort of limited color palette with some teal, blue, pink, and purple colors. So I think it worked out really, really nicely. I like the colors I chose for this one. It's a really calm picture. I think I called it something with twilight flowers. And I think it really gives the impression of, we have some twilight here. So 1 page in this book, and then Magical Jungle. I have 2. Almost at the end. The colored pencil comparison I did with my new Woomer coloring pencils, and also Marie's oil-based coloring pencils from China. I made a comparison video and compared these 2 brands. So you can see it's divided down the middle, and this side is colored with the wombers and this side with the mermaids. So if you just take a look at it and you didn't know it, you can clearly see that this page, or part of the page, is definitely more bright in the colors and more vibrant than this one. It's not that the mermaids oil-based coloring pencils are bad, because they are certainly not. They are very good and I like them a lot. But you can just see when you compare them that the Woomer are so much more bright and vibrant in the color. So I chose to color this one. This was just a really quick page, again with the Woomers, only the Woomers, and tried to use some of the colors from the other page to bring some, you know, some harmony in it, and just to play along with the Woomer coloring pencils, and also to do this wallpaper page. So now this one is done. But back again to my Magical Jungle book. Really like this book, and you can see I have already marked quite a few pages that I want to color in the coming weeks. So you will see more of this book. Clara Markova. Only one page, unfortunately, in these 2 months. I did have plans to do at least one mermaid page from Clara Markova, from one of her books here during Mermaid, but as I explained in my recent Color and Chat video, I have simply been way too busy. So it is a matter of priorities. So I have almost not done anything for Mermaid. But this one was from Easter. And this one was, as far as I remember, a Color and Chat video here on my channel. And you voted for Clara Markova. Let me just find my notes here from last month. Yeah, 39% voted for this particular page. There was also a page from another book, also an Easter page. I think it was with some Easter eggs and tulips or something. But 39% voted for this page. And I used new color tools for the background. They work really nicely on the paper here. Again, depends on the paper. And my polychromas, and then I use stickles for the fairy wings, because I do think that it adds, you know, a nice sort of glitter to fairy wings. This was also a page I did because it was a Color Chat for you, but it was also a page for a little nice group I'm in on Facebook, and it's a special coloring group where we color one time a month. We have a monthly assignment, and the monthly assignment for April was that we had to do a fairy page, and we had to use the yellow color. It had to be dominant in the picture. So when I did this page for you, I also combined it with the other assignment, and that is why her wings are yellow, her dress is yellow, and we have this lovely, perhaps it was a chicken or a duck. I think that some said duck. My children thought it was a duck, but I colored it more like a sort of, you know, a little chicken with the yellow colors and also the yellow flowers in the back because of this assignment. But I like how this one turned out. And polychromas, I might add, they work really great on the paper in Clara Markova's books. Hanna Karlzon, Magical Dawn. And here I have 3 different drawings to show you. I don't know if you remember this one. This was the March page for 2025. I would just like to remind you that this is my Colorions Ensemble Magical Dawn book. So this is from Instagram. So we color a page a month. And since I joined, where this has been going on for, I think, a couple of years, I do have a lot of pages marked with X's. And these pages, like this one, they have already been chosen and colored by the other colorists. So this page was from March, and the opposite page was selected for April. And you can clearly see I chose the same color palette from the month of March to April. So I used the same colors. And this is Prismacolors, and I really like the result also for this moth. I think that the green colors were really nice to use for the body. I like the highlight I managed to create in the body. And I like the way the wings were colored. So it's not a, you know, dark and perhaps a little bit gloomy picture, but a bright spring, summer-like drawing, this one and also the other. So I really like how this one turned out. And then I did another page, and this is one of the pages that, if I can turn the pages here, this one is one of the pages that has already been done by the other colorists, and I chose to color it sort of in the same color palette but with other pencils. This is colored with my Caran d'Ache Luminance pencils, and you can see the sky is compared to the other one, which is very light blue. So this is a darker blue sky. I created a sort of bouquet background and I added white dots with a white Posca pen. And then I added some red flowers, or, well, they are not entirely red. I used poppy red and vermilion, or, you know, sort of a dark orange, light red colors for this. And then I chose the same colors like the flowers here and the moth, almost the same colors for these flowers. And then some more ochre and yellow tones for these castles springing out of the flowers. So I really like how this page turned out. Of course, it's not a match for the Halloween butterfly page on the opposite side, but nevertheless, I really think that this page also works. I'm quite happy with the result. And then this page, and this was a page for the month of May, in the Coloriant Ensemble Magical Dawn, and this is colored with my Woomer coloring pencils. This is the page I colored for my short review of the Woomer coloring pencils, and you can see that it's supposed to be seen in connection with this page that I did in February for Valentine's Day. You can see I used my watercolors here, and I used different sorts of pink and a little violet color. So I use the same colors for the background here. And then I use some more bright green colors for the leaves over here, made the flowers more red and crimson, and made red jewels. And then the sort of ochre brown colors from the jewelry here I transferred to the bees. So the color palette is not entirely the same, but it's very similar, and especially with the background. So I think that these two pages work very nicely together. And the Woomer coloring pencils were a absolute joy to work with in this book. They were so easy to lay down and to blend. I have also, as I shown you, used them in Johanna Basford in her book. I do think that they require a bit more layering and pressure in that book. It really depends on the paper. But in this book, on this paper, they were just absolutely wonderful to work with. So that was my Magical Dawn. Tales from the Witch's Cottage. I have already said that I would like to color more in this book, and I have colored more in this book. I have colored 3 pages. The first one, the nameplate page. And this was actually a result from this page. I did this one in one of my tips and tricks for beginner colorists, my latest episode, how to use masking fluid and watercolors in coloring books. So I used the masking fluid on these flowers. You know, pages like this, I think they are a bit of a challenge to color because it's just a couple of flowers. But if you do something with the background, then the coloring page turns from, you know, a little bit boring to something interesting. And usually on pages like this, I like to use my watercolors. Unfortunately, I really played with the watercolors and the water, so some of it bled through to this page. So I immediately decided that I wanted to use watercolors on this page too, and then color the rest with the coloring pencils and blend it a bit out. So I am pretty sure I used my Prismacolors for this one, because I certainly did for the red clover flowers on this page. And then I just added, you know, little dots of some gold pen. And the other page I forgot to mark in this book, which is quite embarrassing, but you may have seen it. Oh no, it was not in this book. I completely forgot. But I do have one drawing here in this book. and that is this one. This one was a color along for members of my coloring community, and I called it Wishing Well, because it is a well and you can make wishes. I did try to make, you know, dots in different colors. Perhaps you can see it better if I bring it up to the camera. Perhaps I should have used some acrylic markers or something, because the dots made with the Posca pens are not very visible. Perhaps I will change that. But anyway, I am pretty sure I used my Prismacolors for this one, because I can see it with the layering and the blending that I use those. But this was a fun one to do. And we have these 3 little spirits here. So also a sort of a more limited color palette, and also some more muted tones for this coloring. But this was really enjoyable. So you can see that most of the attention comes to the well here in the middle, and then the flowers and plants sort of merge into the background, because they are not the center of attention on this page, but the well is. Berettelser from Atlantis, Tales from Atlantis, the last, Hanna Karlzon. And this was a drawing I thought originally was in Tales from the Witch's Cottage, but of course it was here. This page with the red seahorse I used in my tips and tricks for beginner colorists, with the masking fluid and the watercolors to create a watercolor background for this one. Again, I know it's in a frame, but it's a very simple motif, and then you think, what about the background? So a watercolor background is always a nice go-to for drawings like this, and I use Prismacolors for the rest. And then, of course, also some Posca pens for the outlining and so on. And my last page in this book, I have just done the mermaid page from Mermaid. And this is up on my channel as the last color and chat. It was up a couple of days ago. And here I show you where I use the Derwent ink tints and chroma flows. And the ink tints, I show you how I sort of blend the colors together. It is possible with Derwent ink tints. It's not easy, but it is possible to blend the colors together. And I used chroma flows for the mermaid, and then I decided to keep the color palette very limited. So I used silver for the frame and the goldfish here, and then I used blue and green and silver Pentel Sparkle Pop glitter gel pens for the jellyfishes and the rest of the fish. So it's a very limited color palette with some bluish tealish colors and a bit of a darker blue here, and then silver. I really like this page. I like how it turned out. I think it's very, very beautiful. Of course, you could have done something else. You could have added stickles, or you could have done something else with the tail and made it perhaps more, more see-through or lighter. But I like the color palette I chose for this one, where it's not entirely light. The only light thing we have is a turquoise in her skin, and then the silver, of course. So I really like this one. And I got to color in Berettelser from Atlantis, yet again, one of my favorite book of Hanna Karlzon's. Maria Trolle, Nightfall. I did one page in this book, and it is this double page spread, and I did it as the assignment for the month of May in my little coloring group on Facebook. And we had to color, find a page with a lot of butterflies, and the butterflies had to be red and black, and the background had to be emerald, or I don't think the background had to be emerald green, but you had to use emerald green in the drawing. So I thought that emerald green must be a very good background color. And then everything just went wrong from there. So I'm not really satisfied with this page. Let me just tell you that. I just have to find what mediums I did. So I wanted to create some sort of light behind the butterflies, and that failed completely, because when I began mixing the neo colors, it just went completely wrong from there. You can see all of this I colored with my coloring pencils first. I think that it was perhaps this was either Sturtler Agrosoft, no, I think it was the Bruinzeel coloring pencils, because I know that I used them twice this month. So it must be the Bruinzeel coloring pencils. but I colored these and I thought it looked absolutely ridiculous. So I ended up using my Arctex acrylic markers for these sort of rose petals in the air. And then I decided to use emerald, as I said, for the background. And I used green for the rest of this butterfly fairy, for her skin and her hair and the wings, and then, you know, different sorts of green colors. Some of the Neocolor 2 paint got into the butterflies, so I really did what I could to salvage it with the red and the black, but I'm not quite sure that I did it. And then I decided in the end to put stickles all over to salvage some of this. I'm not satisfied with how this page turned out. I should not have used Neocolor 2s for the background. I think that was the first mistake. I think this background would have been better because it's so big with soft pastels. I really think the soft pastels would perhaps have been the answer. Well, this goes to show that sometimes, even when you are an experienced colorist, sometimes it just, you know, messes up completely. So the double page spread here is done. It was certainly not perfect and I'm not satisfied with it, but it's done. Twilight Garden, my project book for this year. I counted the pages the other day. I think I need to color 46 or 47 pages I have left in this one to complete it this year. And one of my subscribers here on YouTube, Veronica, reached out to me on Instagram, and we have begun body coloring some of the pages in this book. I have quite a few pages to show you. Perhaps it's easier to begin from the back. This one was not a body color with Veronica. This one I did as my video number 300 on the channel, a free tutorial for all. And this was a really challenge, this double page spread, but I really like the result. I think it worked out nicely. I used my Black Widow pencils. They work great on this paper, and I like the color combinations I found for the different sorts of flowers. And this is a daunting page to do a video about, because Chris Cheng did a video about this page quite a few years ago. I don't know if it's 6, 7 or 8 years ago, in the beginning of her career here on YouTube. And I know a lot of people have followed that tutorial and used it. So I wanted to create something different. So I have never seen that video, and I have not used it for any sort of inspiration. All of this came from me researching the different flowers and finding color combinations with the help of photos from the internet. Pictures of the different flowers, and then my own ideas about the color combinations also for the bird's nest here. And these birds are blackbirds, 2 males and a female, because blackbirds are my favorite bird. I really like their song in the summer months. So this one I'm really happy about. I think it was a great page to do. This is one of the pages that I have as a body color with Veronica. I haven't done it yet. The opposite page, no, wait, this was the page I was going to do with Veronica, because she had already done this page. So this means I have to do them both. This one is also finished, my second test page in this book, where I have tested the Marias and the Derwent Lightfast and the Derwent Chroma Flows, the Albrecht Dürer watercolor pencils, and the Brun Seal. So finally I am done, and I don't think that I will be doing any more test pages in this book. It must be one of the other Maria Trolle books, because this one is just going to be finished now. This one was done recently, also a body color with Veronica, and I will show you her drawings here in just a minute. And I call it Mother Mouse. This is also one of the pages from this book that Chris Cheng has made a tutorial about. I have not seen it, and I have not used it for inspiration. I chose the colors myself. I just have to disclaim this and let you know before people begin writing in the comments, oh, you're just like Chris Cheng or something. This was done completely by myself and with my own color choices. And I chose to keep it in the sort of purple and a little bit of light blue colors. for this mouse and all of these flowers. And here you can see Veronica's version of this page with the mouse, and she has used Kahlua watercolor pencils, and this is just such a nice pastel version of this page. Well done, Veronica, and thank you so much for the body color. I like how this one turned out. I think it's really nice. Then we have to, oh yes, this one, also a double page spread. I have done a few double page spreads. This one was done for members of my coloring community here on YouTube as a color along, and I use my Albrecht, was it the Albrecht Dürer watercolor pencils for, well, almost everything except for these birds' nests and the birds. And then I use polychromos pencils on top to add details to all of these roses, and a little tiny bit with shadows here underneath the bird, and then just polychromos pencils for the birds and the bird's nest. But everything else is Albrecht Dürer. I also really like this one. This one, when I posted it on Instagram, was extremely popular. It has gotten a lot of likes. And this one, also a body color with Veronica. And you can see her page in just a minute. Really like how this one turned out. I decided to use a more limited color palette and keep it green and pink with some magenta for these flowers. Veronica's version of this lovely coneflower page, colorful and vibrant. Coneflowers can be colored in both these purple colors that I chose, or more magenta-like, but also the more orange and yellow tones that Veronica has used. Such a nice, colorful page, again colored with the Kahlua watercolor pencils. Thank you so much, Veronica, for these body colors in Twilight Garden. It's so nice that I, thanks to you, also can finish some more pages in this project book. And this one, double page spread, I used it for one of my tips and tricks for beginner colorists about blending and burnishing. And after I had done a couple of these flowers, then I had to do the rest of this double page spread. So this is also done. Very satisfying. So I have gotten a few pages in this book I really like. And then this one, also a body color with Veronica. She has not made this page yet, so I cannot show you her version of this page. And this is a very simple coloring. I don't like coloring vegetables, so it was, well, not hell for me to get through this page, but almost. It felt like years before I completed it. And I chose not to have a background because I just wanted it to be over with. This is certainly not my favorite page from this book, but different sorts of vegetables, and I tried to keep it, you know, with some of the same colors, the reddish magenta, like here, all of the green and white, and then the orange and a little bit of yellow with the flowers, to keep it simple, if I may say so. So I will keep continuing coloring pages in this, and sometime during this summer, perhaps in a month, I think I will make a progress video about how far I have come in this book. That was it for my completed pages for the month of April and May. Which one was your favorite page? Write it down in the comments. I do think that my favorite page was the one with the windmills and the flowers, or perhaps the birthday cakes I did in Rooms of Wonder. Anyway, I hope to see you in my upcoming videos, a translated flip-through of another Aikawasora book. Also some surprise videos with things I have acquired, very exciting and interesting things. Not an art haul video, but something quite else. Also, swatching new coloring pencils, and of course, more color and chats and tips and tricks for beginner colorists. If you're new here, check out the playlists on my channel and consider subscribing. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, a like. It really helps my channel. So until I see you in the next video, have a lovely day, take care of yourself, happy coloring, bye!